the minerals down, because those are kind of easy. You just spam a ton of Marines, right? Work on getting the minerals down as well. It could mean, you know, getting tech labs on these barracks and getting Marauders instead of Marines. Something like that.
Who wants some?
Okay, so you're about to go in for another attack.
Better be good.
And what are we gonna do before we go into attack? I should see a scan right there. You're looking at the fog of war. You can't see anything through that fog of war. You need a scan. Let me see if you've got scan. Yep, you've got enough energy for one scan. So that's pretty good. Also, I would maybe stim a little bit earlier. Not a big deal, but you know, you can do it. Okay, so now that those siege tanks are done, bring back the units lost tab. Still about 4,000 minerals behind, or resources. And I believe it's the next attack that wins you the game. Once again, your macro is quite good. You know, just seeing units constantly stream out of those barracks, it's helping you tremendously. Still, the money's getting a little bit high, so you know, throw down a couple more structures, throw down an expansion. You know, even if, yeah, like if you see your money that high, you should just be basically in panic mode, trying to spend all your money. I'd be throwing up turrets, even though you don't know if they're going to be useful. I'd be throwing down expansions, getting supply depots that you're not sure if you even need. Taking out that siege tank, I think, was a good move. Doing a little better on the units lost tab. Now, before you go in, what are we gonna do? Let's see if it has energy. It's got 62 energy. We're gonna scan right here. You'd see everything. You'd look at that battle and you'd say, "Oh man, I can win that easily." And moving on in for the kill. And I believe this is pretty much the end of the game. He makes a futile attempt at expanding there, but you end up crushing it. I'm going to watch your camera a little bit more. Nice scan. Very nice use of scan. Going back and forth. Let's see. Okay, following your camera, I'm just gazing a little bit on some of your habits. I'm liking what I'm seeing. You're, you know, using your units, but then still just using your macro keys to, or your hotkeys to macro. Very, very cool. See, not even looking at your structures, but still macroing. It's awesome. More supply depots going down in anticipation of getting supply blocked. That's really good as well. And this game is pretty much over. I'm gonna go ahead and fast forward it a little bit, because it is. Let's look at army. You have a 172 army versus 36. This is definitely done. Taking out the army, taking out the SCVs. Then it will just be a short waltz up his ramp to take him out. Okay, so well played. First of all, congrats on your win. Specific things to try next time: if you're gonna get one engineering bay, get 2 engineering bays. If you're seeing this imbalance of, wow, I have a lot more gas than I do minerals, get more starports. Get starports and just get a lot of banshees. Actually, get like 2 starports with tech labs and constantly make banshees out of them, because banshees are pretty nice to sprinkle into an army like this, as long as you can control them decently well. You can do harassment with them as well. I mean, if you could sneak a banshee in and just take out, like, all 4 of these supply depots are totally exposed. You could take out all 4 of those supply depots. Look for stuff along the edge of the base that you can take out. Let's back up a little bit. Okay, so at this point, if you had had a couple banshees, which You could have afforded it because you were floating about 900 minerals. This was even before you got in the gold. You know, just fly some Banshees into the back here, take out some SCVs. Those would have been easy targets. Missile turret's really going to affect you, prevent you from using cloak, but still, Banshees do a ton of damage. Let's see, what else did I want to talk about? Oh, still work on not engaging when there's a lot of siege tanks there. And in fact, one very valid Terran skill is to be able to scan your opponent or just look at them and see when their tanks are unsieging or sieging. If they're sieging and the rest of your army is in position to get hit by them, you should be running away, and you can actually run away by the time the siege tanks enter siege mode, and they won't get any shots off. If, let's say, you see an army encroaching, you scan it like it should be, and you see that the siege tanks are not sieged, that's a really good time to run in and engage. The last point I just want to pound in one more time is whenever you're going in for an attack that you know is happening, you know, not one where you're necessarily defending, but one where you're doing the attacking, always scan where you assume his troops are going to be, just so you can assess the battle a little bit better. You know, if you had scanned, you know, he basically had his siege tanks in a line right here the whole game. If you had scanned, you could have just, you know, say, you know what, I don't want to fight there, and just attack through here, attack through this hallway, creep up down here, and avoid his siege tanks. In fact, that's really a theme that I am seeing in all of your games. Avoid fighting against siege tanks. You know, pick up like a large amount of Marines, load them into medevacs. The easiest way to do it is just box a bunch of Marines, then right click on your medevacs, select those medevacs, and then just drop them in his base. Do something like drop them right here, and then run in and just start killing all of his stuff. Scan the front, see if he's moving his siege tanks or what, and then you can move in with the rest of your army. Anyway, yeah, just focus on those couple things that I mentioned in your Terran vs. Terran. I think that should improve your gameplay a lot. Anyways, thanks again for coming. GG.